Hello again. Today we're going to talk about the controls for Uni Control. So the in-app controls you can see here are along the right hand side of the screen. The very top right hand corner you'll see 3 dots and 3 lines. That's our jobs menu or project selection. So we tap on it and it's a jobs menu. So it shows us that we can work without GPS, making it a 2D system. So for example, you're working in under a roof of a warehouse, getting ready for concrete floors or doing drainage or etc., where you don't have any clear view of satellites. You can work without GPS. You click on next. You can set a slope at 0%, which means you're level. You can do a plus percentage, where if you look on the left hand side, it shows that you're rising towards the excavator. You can do a minus, means that you're actually bringing down the level as you're working towards the excavator. Basically, with a 2D system, you would have to set a benchmark or set a level, so you'd zero your bucket at a given level. You'd work in that area. When you move your machine, you'd put your bucket back in or your implement back in to the last point that you knew was right, and you'd re-zero your bucket and continue on. The next on the list is the surface design file or your drawing file. So if we tap on that, click on next, we can turn on and turn off drawings. You can load multiple drawings. You can turn off drawings. I'm just going to leave this drawing on it right now. So you select your drawing and you click on next, and it'll give you your drawing name, your surface design file it's here as. This is actually just a DXF model, so it's just line work basically. So the next function is creating the surface, where we can create a flat surface, a surface from points, and a foundation outline. There's in baseline 19, which is going to be released very shortly, we're going to have a fourth option here to create a surface from a cross section. So using 3D polylines, we'd be able to create simple roads, etc. Then we have the slope function, where we can create a slope basically between a point and a percent. So you can select 1 point and work with a percentage. 2 points fall to a point or line. So if you had if you were working from a level here and you had a point outside that you logged, so you'd log a point here and you'd log a point maybe on a line or there may be an existing line, it'll create the slope to that line. And then you can go 2 points and a percent as well. So if you had 2 manholes, for example, you could select the first manhole. It'll ask you for your slope start point, so you select your start point, you select your invert or your distance down. If you're working to a polyline, you'll be working to invert, and you'll only have to offset for the wall of your pipe and the bedding. So you can plus or minus 100 mils and 10 mils here, or you might want to go from nothing if you were grading, let's say, a yard. So you can select your first point, you can select it on the map, you can log a point anywhere, click on next, it'll ask you for your slope, you put in your percentage and you select your point on the map again, and you click next, and basically it'll tell you your slope percentage, your point distance, your slope start point, slope end point, and the job type. And these will all be stored in the Unicontrol cloud. and the last function is the height to pointer line. So basically, if you had line work that you could have a line, we'll say, and you could have a line offset at a different height, and you could select the two lines, and it'll create that slope for you. Now you'll see along the bottom of the screen you have a background. So if you have a 3D XML surface drawing loaded on the screen, you can't have, well, you could have a DXF drawing loaded and a surface, but you can always set your DXF or your line work drawing as a background. That drawing will always be there, but you have to turn it off, the background setting, so that's our jobs menu. In the history, you will have a history of any surfaces you created, any drawings that you have uploaded, that you'll be able to easily go back into without searching for them. So anything you've done, you've surveyed on a particular job or on a particular project, will remain in the history under the jobs page, which is really handy. So our second symbol on the right hand side, you'll see it looks like a bucket with a ram and the end of a dipper arm there. This function here is for offsetting. So if we tap on it, we can offset vertical or perpendicular. We can offset by 100 mils or 10 mils. We can cancel an offset. We can set an offset from a bucket height. We can do a GPS offset. So we can actually say, let's say for argument's sake that you were on a building site and your machine and your site engineer, the rover, weren't matching up. You'd put your bucket on the ground, you'd check the elevation, then you'd check it off of his rover, and you could basically tap on this little box here, enter the elevation that you want to be at, and that'll create the GPS offset of whatever mils, You can remove the GPS offset, obviously, or set it. Also, you can do a side offset. So if you're working and you have line work and you want to offset your dig to allow room outside of the line work, let's just say we'll add a meter. You could make it 20 meters and type it if you wanted to, but done. What you'll see here, if we zoom in, you'll see the broken line, and when the bucket, obviously you would have to lock, when the bucket is that is a meter offset. So you could log a point there and move on here. And log a point, and you could actually draw a line through those points. So that's our offset menu. The next feature is our bucket reference. So we have a right hand side, left hand side, and center. The next symbol down is with machine control. Every bucket is calibrated in separately. So when we change the bucket, obviously to keep our accuracy, we need to change it in the system as well and tell the system that, oh look, we've changed from, let's say, a grading bucket to a digging bucket, a wide bucket, narrow buckets. Every bucket has its own setting. The next function down is, it looks like a location symbol. It's actually for surveying points. So that's a point survey. And the last symbol below, it looks like a lock button. Basically what the lock button is, when you're hanging on a line and you tap on that lock, you don't want to be mistaking and digging to the wrong line. So once you're happy with the line you're on and you lock it on, you'll always see it'll always bring you back to that line. But if you have it turned on, it's an automatic side reference. You'll see that it'll latch onto it, every line that you're near. The closest line to you is what it'll latch to. So yeah, it is a handy little function, especially if you're working on a site where there's a lot of lines, sewer lines, water line, water mains, or if you're doing a storm and foul and main drainage that are close together, you can't make any mistakes with that lock function. Now every one of these buttons has got a dual function, so we'll start from the top. If we do a long press on the jobs menu, it takes us to a project selection. So you could have multiple projects, as you can see I have here. You can change your correction source from N-trip. You can change that to radio or N-trip to put in your login details for your N-trip corrections. And also you can just select the different projects that you want to work on. So you could be, let's say, a contractor moving around between maybe 2 or 3 different building contractors. You might have a couple of months here, a couple of months there, a couple of months here, and you may have to revisit. So you'll have your different projects set up, and you as you're going to the site, you can just have your contractor's name or site name. You can click on that, click done, and it'll open up that project. And the second button down is our offset tab. So if we long press on the offset tab, and what you'll see here is on the top of my screen I have a height left and a height right, which tells you the height of your bucket. That height is outside design at the moment because we do not have a level set. So if we long press on that offset button and hold it, it should zero the bucket, yeah? Of course it won't here because we don't have a surface set. So just for a flat surface. Next, done. Now I have a surface and a level. So let's say I'm below it or I'm above it. I'll just show it on this screen. So with the offset, if we long press on the offset button, it will zero the bucket at the height that we were given. So we can zero here. Now you can see that where the surface was created is a broken line, and where we zero the bucket is the solid yellow line. That's our level. That's the level that we always work to with the machine control. We always work to that yellow line, and the middle of that yellow line is level, and slightly above and slightly below is maybe 20 mil off of level, yeah. So the next button down then, and I'm going to just move away from this house here, and I'm actually going to turn off that offset. Done. So the function of our bucket reference tab, which is the third down on the right, the second function of that, if you long press it, it'll open a create bar, so it'll allow us to do little drawings. So we can draw a circle from 3 points. We can draw a circle using a center point and an outside point. We can draw a spline, S shape, it'll follow us in a curve. We can draw a straight lines or staggered lines, or we can, as we see here with the survey button, we can leave it on a point. As you see here, if I select the circle, it comes in here to the point survey 1, 2, 3. So what I would have to do here is I'd log a point, and I would log a point, and I would log a point, and that's my circle from 3 points. It draws it for you on the screen. Now I want to delete that circle just a minute. So if I go back into my create bar, I can go from a circle from 2 points, where I'm obviously after logging that point, and log this point. Now I have a center point that I can work from. Let's just say I want to do another one here. It's another circle. And I can go back into my create bar here. Let's just say you're doing a little bit of drainage and you don't have a design for it. You're just doing it by by yourself, and you want to send an as-built back into the engineer. So we can select this guy. We can log on that point. And we can move back here to our second. Log a point, so we have simple line work done between. We've drawn 2 manholes and a line between. So now, also, if I was, let's just say I'm going to a greenfield site, and I'm going to do a spline for this one, that I want to survey the boundary. And see, it gives you a curved line, and you can close back in that it'll actually close it in and form the boundary for you when you'd be coming to your last point. And we have our staggered line where it's so I'm after creating a little boundary around, okay? I know I have a straight line there, and I know it's straight, and I want to close in my boundary. I can just tap the left of the tabs top one. You can see the broken line between the 4 points. You tap on that, and that closes your boundary. So you can do simple little drawings. Also, your points are on it, and in general I will leave this on a point survey because it's handy for more functions. If we hold on our lock button again, it'll delete all the above points, and the line, it's gone. So you can actually put stuff in and delete stuff as well, which is great. If I hold on my lock button again, I can delete that. So let's say the operator is just looking for some guidance, and he puts in a line on a drawing just to help him out. Yeah, everything we do can be deleted. So we can delete that point, that line, and all associated with it, and we can delete that. Pretty handy. And that's all for this episode. A little run through the handy features of Uni Control. We'll keep you posted and tune in for more. Thank you.